Hello, my name is Cindy Gravely and I'm going to walk you through my lesson. I use this lesson with my 4th grade students. It is a culminating task to assess all skills taught in the geometry unit. Students worked in groups to create a plan for a new addition to a city that uses the geometry knowledge acquired to design a town with certain specifications. Next, students created a screencast of their group presenting their plan. During the screencast, students were expected to model ways that are safe and legal and ethical with regards to technology usage. Once all screencasts are complete, students will upload them to the class Weebly page. Then students will provide constructive feedback with a peer assessment of their classmates' work using a rubric. There are many different digital tools used in this lesson. The first digital tool the students interacted with were the productivity tools to use for the presentation. The students were able to choose between PowerPoint, Google Slides, Word, or Sway. Then I had planned for students to choose between Screencast-O-Matic or Jing to create their screencast, but we had technical difficulties. Therefore, everyone used Screencast-O-Matic. The last two tools students will interact with are the Weebly website to upload their screencasts. Here is our Weebly homepage. You've got the directions to Geometry Town on it and an exemplar there for students to have an example. Then you have each classroom's homeroom and their names, and that's where their screencasts will be uploaded. The last tool that everyone will use is our survey for Geometry Town. This will be given to students at the end of the unit so that they can give me feedback so that I can make adjustments for the next time I give the task. Unfortunately, due to testing and the task taking much longer to complete, we haven't used these last two tools just yet, but I'm planning to next week in class. For students to be successful, the lesson had to be differentiated. The content of the task was differentiated by reducing the number of specifications in the plan to one example of each geometric shape. Here, as you can see, instead of 4 streets that are parallel to each other, they are only required to do 2. And instead of 8 buildings that are different shapes, they're doing 1 of each type of geometric shape to create 4 different buildings. Another way the task was differentiated was by allowing students to choose the digital tool that worked best with their learning style. Students were assessed with 2 different rubrics. The first rubric assessed the standards the lesson was based upon. Here is all the criteria, the standards, and the 3 different levels students could fall in or between. The second rubric assessed how well each student worked in a group to ensure that everyone was collaborating, working together, participating, remained on task, respectful, and used the appropriate voice in the classroom. Overall, this was a very fun and exciting project for me and my students. The students were engaged and actively participating throughout the task. Thankfully, all the technology in the classroom worked properly. We didn't have to do any major troubleshooting other than Jing not downloading correctly. But thankfully, I had two different tools to use, so that worked out perfectly. I do have some things that I would want to change next time around. One of those being to limit the number of productivity tools that students can choose from. Another change I'm going to make is to only use Screencast-O-Matic because of the difficulties we had. Another big change I need to make is to remember to allow for plenty of time. Next year I'm going to plan for 5 to 6 days for students to complete the project and another day for screencasts.